welcome or welcome back. My name is Shannon and this is Planted 386. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you. I understand that there is a plethora of planty content out on the internet, and so anytime anyone takes the time out of their day to spend a little of it with me, I am always appreciative. Thank you so much. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. We are on our way to 1,000, which is just like mind-blowing to me. I started this channel back in, I believe, January, and either January or March, and I just remember wanting to catalog my planty journey. I wanted to meet some new planty friends and really just talk plants. And I have to say, this platform has been absolutely incredible for all of those things. It's also been wonderful for my overall mental health. I have learned so much on this little trip down the YouTube journey, and just really, really grateful to be here. If I seem a little bit pale today, don't mind. I did give some blood earlier. I've just been going through some anxiety and some things, so we're trying to get to the bottom of it. So if I look a little pasty, that would be why. It could also be these very sterile white walls and all of this light. But again, I thought I would just keep the vibe going in here, because the last video, you guys seem to like it more than I thought that you would. You know, we're normally hanging out in the planty corner, but I must say, this is a pretty convenient place for me to film. So if you guys like it, I like it. I'm not sure we'll film here all the time, but for this one, we will. Today, I'm sure you read the title or the caption. We're gonna be doing some favorites today. You guys know I'm a show and tell kind of girly. I'm sure you can hear my doggies. They are around. And yeah, I just have some favorite plants that I wanna share with you. I'm sure you've seen them before. Some of them I'm sure are going to be repeats. And at the end of the video, I'm going to have a little bit of an unboxing. So if that sounds good, stick around, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, you guys, so the first one is gonna come as no surprise. If you've been here, you know we can't get through a video without a Rhipsalis, seemingly. So here we go, red Rhipsalis. I am obsessed with this plant. I'm obsessed with all of my Rhipsalis. They bring me so much joy. I think it's because they are so, they're just so wily, you know? Like, they just kind of go anywhere they want to go, and I love the way that they sun stress. If you're a Hoya fan, and you like the way that Hoyas sun stress, you may really like Rhipsalis, because they do have a lot of character. That's another thing. They have tons of character. Very low maintenance. This is a plant that's not going to require really much of anything from you. As I said, I've not been feeling the best. We've had a lot going on between the hurricane and just all of that, working, and just my mental health. This is a plant I never have to worry about. Like, I never worry if this is gonna be okay, if I'm not okay. It's always okay. And the reason that it's a favorite is because it is just growing like crazy. I will say this is one that doesn't grow super quickly. This is not a Rhipsalis that grows like a weed, if you will, at least not for me. It's taken quite a bit of time to just get here. But yeah, I think she's great. She lives in a very, very bright window. I kind of call it my succulent cacti window. In the living room, and she's just been so happy. She's been so happy. She brings me so much joy. I love this pot. Another reason why I love these sort of show and tell or favorites videos, if you will, is because I personally love to style my plants. It brings me a lot of joy to find just the right pot for that specific plant. And so this is a planter that John picked me up and found for me. It's bright, it's colorful, and I think it just pairs lovely with this Rhipsalis. So yes, I will have the full name, of course, on the screen. I picked this up at a local grower here to me, and I've had it going on a couple years now, I think at least a year and a half. And yeah, it's just been a delight. It's got a ton of new little growth points coming. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. And yeah, just these sweet little red tips. I really can't wait to see where this goes and just how big it gets. I kind of envision it just sort of filling out this pot and really just kind of draping and just being its statement in itself. So yeah, this is my first one. I think he's absolutely darling. You guys, we are surrounded in plants. So as I show them to you, I'm just gonna set them down. Personally, I don't like to cut and make a ton of cuts. I would rather just bend over and put the plant down than make a cut. Every cut is an edit. The next one I have to show is this one here. Now this plant, quite honestly, has not really been one to, in the past, stand out to me. I've always liked it. I've always thought, wow, what a pretty plant, but it's never been on a favorites list. The reason it is now on my favorites list is because I did find this super sweet little snail pot. And if you caught my last video, I showed you guys this little planter. I think I picked this up at the Dollar General. And this is Philodendron Silver Stripe, if I didn't say that. Also, it still has its little nursery tag in it, which is so strange. That right there tells you how little I kind of pay attention to this plant. I always re-tag them and I always repot them pretty much right after coming into the home. And I've done neither with this. Not repotted it and I've not re-tagged it. Now the reason that I didn't repot this is because with this type of plant, like trailing plants, epipremnum, or, you know, just trailing philodendron, I seem to have issues when I repot. They seem to prefer a tighter pot. So I've even had this issue with Scindapsus. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it in this little tiny pot, and it seems absolutely fine, absolutely fine. In fact, it's growing like crazy. It's starting to finally drape. I paid $12 for this back when this plant was still a little bit on the pricey side, and you know, it's just this tiny little pot. So it really was a very small little plant, and to see it starting to really take shape and kind of own its planter, if you will, brings me a ton of joy. I do think this is a lovely philodendron. I don't have a ton of trailing philos or epis, or I don't have a ton of them anymore. I need to do a collection video. You guys know I've cataloged, you know, I've done my Hoya collection, my philodendron collection, and I need to do my pothos, my Scindapsus. I still need to do that. Anyways, I think he's lovely. I think he looks absolutely darling in this little snail planter. I kind of like him draping sort of offset like that. And yeah, not much to say other than he's just lovely and an easy little statement. I could see him on a shelf, maybe with some books, or as like a bookend kind of thing. Yeah, I could see a lot of places that this would look lovely, but I have him on top of my Millsbow wide. And come on, look at this guy's little face. If that doesn't bring you joy, if that doesn't cheer you up, I'm not sure what will. Philodendron Silver Stripe. All right, next is, I think this one's been on the channel before. I do believe I have featured her in a favorites video. I could be wrong, but this is my black pagoda. Let's hold her this way. My black pagoda lipstick plant. Now, The reason she is on my favorites for this month is because I have noticed a trend with this plant, and she is in her growth phase. So she has been just putting out tons of growth. Um, and on this new growth, the leaves are just absolutely stunning. They come in this sort of beautiful chartreuse with those beautiful purpley backings, and it's just magic. It is just magical. I feel like it almost looks venomous, like it's supposed to be in a like, I don't know, like a creepy movie or something, but in the coolest kind of way. I do have some crunchy leaves that I need to take care of, but I mean, overall, this plant has just been such a joy. I actually got her on a trade. This is one that a friend of mine had, and she said, you know, it's just not for me. It struggles for me. We're just not getting along. And so I think I bought it off of her, actually. I can't remember if I traded her or if I bought something or bought it off of her, but it has brought me a ton of joy. I think it is doing absolutely amazing. And just the bigger it gets, the more it grows, the more I love it. This thing has doubled in size for sure since I got it. And I've noticed that it seems to do nothing, and I mean nothing, in the, like, we'll say, in the cooler months up until like August. Like, she doesn't really do anything for most of the year, but when she does, she does. It almost seems like she just has this window of time that she grows. And I remember her doing that last year after I had gotten her. She just like took off, and then she did nothing for the longest time. But here we are. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Hoya polyneura in a certain kind of way. I don't know if you guys can see that, but like, for instance, like this little guy here, it kind of just reminds me of the way the polyneura grows. So if that plant is one that you like and maybe you've struggled with, maybe this one could be an option to sort of scratch that itch. I do have it in just this crock that I found at the thrift store that we clean every Thursday. And I just love it. I just love it. Lives in the living room, very close to that succulent window. And yeah, she just brings me a ton of joy. I guess, you guys, I could be setting it here, right? And I could give her a little spin around for you. I mean, that's why we have this lazy Susan. The problem is I have so many plants all over here that it's like she doesn't have the room to spin. But anyways, she's a delight, and I highly recommend. I have heard people say that they struggle with these lipstick plants, but I've never struggled with it. I'm not really, I don't know. I mean, I just water it once a week, and I pot it up or repot it once a year, just fresh soil. I wouldn't say that it's one that you necessarily have to upsize the pot a ton, similarly to the silver stripe that I just showed you. But the addition of the fresh dirt and the nutrients definitely serves it well. Other than that, it's just simple. It's a simple one. So anyways, we'll move on to the next. We'll go right here. We'll just go right here. You guys, clarinervium. I literally I can't say enough about this plant. I think it is so beautiful. I can see why clarinervium just like makes its rounds, right? I mean, it is really, really such a striking plant in every way, in my opinion. I love the leaf shape. I adore the leaf shape, actually. And just the veination overall, I think is just beautiful. I mean, this is one that you can literally put this plant anywhere and it will be a statement. It will look lovely. It will draw the eye. It will, and if it were me coming into a home and if I saw this plant sitting somewhere, I would definitely feel compelled to ask about it. Gosh, it's just so cool. Now, this is one that I got as a teeny tiny little babe. And actually, if I'm being honest, it's put out a pup or an offset. I don't know if you can see him in there, teeny tiny. And that's about the size it was when I brought it home. It's been living in my Mills Botal, and it's flowering. It's actually been flowering, but I have cut all the other flowers prior to this one. I have thought about chopping this one as well and just letting it sort of mature a little bit more. I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I have so many anthuriums that are in bloom right now, so I'm kind of on the fence there. I don't know. It's kind of, I mean, it's a super small inflow, so, you know, it would basically be for the pollen. This plant is not ready to be a mother yet, at least not in my opinion. I have just been enjoying her. Every time she gives me a leaf, I'm like, thank you so much. Look how beautiful. So that is her most recent. And I have to say, it has been so easy. It has been so easy. This plant has given me absolutely no fuss. If it's an anthurium, or if you're into anthurium or you want to be into anthuriums and maybe you're a little scared, maybe you've heard that they can be a little bit of a struggle, I would say clarinervium is a safe start. Also, I think, yeah, I paid $15 for it when I got it. So, I mean, of course it was small, but it's not like a huge investment, unlike some of these other anthuriums that are out there, some of the hybrids and such that are going for big money. It's just one that you can kind of safely start with, and if you were to not do well with it, it wouldn't be a huge loss in terms of, you know, monetary loss. Of course, it's a living thing. We don't want to see living things suffer, but I really think this is one that if you can keep plants alive, if you already have a collection, if you already have a few plants and you're, you know, they're doing all right, I really think this is one that you could add and it would be happy. So long as you water it, I think should be happy. I do feed her every week. I feed all of my plants the same. I'm sure I've mentioned that before, but in case I haven't, I do feed my plants every single week with a diluted amount of fertilizer, and that seems to serve them pretty well. I don't really have issues with fertilizer burn and things like that. So anyways, yes, I think she's amazing. She's one that I always find myself looking at in the cabinet, just checking on her and sort of seeing what she's doing. And I also like that the petioles seem to stay pretty short, at least for me. I do have it under pretty bright light, but I like how compact it is. Like, I like that this looks like a little table plant, you know? Some anthuriums can be wild, you guys. These petioles are all over the place. Phillos too. Okay, so next is my Wendy. My little Wendy. You guys, I am a sucker for a pendant anthurium. Yes, I am. Actually, I am a sucker for trailing plants. I just love them. I think if I had to be a trailing plant or a climbing plant, I would definitely be a trailing plant. There's just something so graceful, beautiful. I don't know. The way that they sort of just trickle over the pot and then down, free flowing, hanging in the air. I don't know, you guys. I know it's probably, you're like, this girl is wild, but no, I really think they're beautiful. And pendant anthuriums, they just fascinate me, quite honestly. Just the way that they grow, anthuriums in general, but I love the way that a pendant anthurium grows. So it sort of does this vine, and it will continue to just stretch itself way out over the pot, continuing to give me leaves. And what that does is it makes it easy to find a place for this plant. So you don't have to worry about finding space for moss pole after moss pole and oh my gosh, how high, you know, the ceiling, is it going to reach the ceiling? Instead, you can put this guy up high and then just let it do its thing. It's really very low maintenance. And as my collection grows, I find myself longing or looking into plants that are space savers, right? That they don't really need to have an extension, a moss pole extension every single time, you know. Just simple plants, just plants that don't require a ton of space, a ton of real estate, because I don't know, I want more of them, right? So they need to be able to kind of grow within that confined space. I do try to keep my plants like not all over each other, but the more you have, it just kind of happens that way. And what what makes me so excited about this one is, of course, she is giving me a new leaf. She does grow a little slower than my Vitarifolium, quicker than my pallidiflorum, though. So she was just a little seedling. I got her back in maybe March or something. Anyways, I just can't believe how big she is already. She's given me a new leaf. She's just looking so healthy. I love the color of the new leaves as they come in. And overall, it's just been a joy. It's just been a joy. I look at her every day. And I'm just like curious, what are you doing? I also love the way that she looks in this pot. This is actually just a vase, and I do have her growing in no drainage. I often start my anthuriums in no drainage until they get to cataphyll. That's usually when I will put them into a drainage situation, and that's worked out really well for me. Gosh, I just can't get over. So cute. So cute. Can't wait till I get that first inflow also, because with the Wendy, I'm sure most of you know, but in case you don't, the wendlingeri has the most interesting inflorescence. It does this whole spiral thing, and they just like the mature inflorescence of a wendlingeri is really just it's a show in itself. Absolutely incredible. I know I've hit this a couple times, and I'm sorry if it's made like a big noise. Okay, so the next one, another Anthurium, we're gonna do my Zara. So this is exciting because this one I got again as a tiny little seedling, and I got this a year ago, you guys. So it's taken me a long time to get this plant here. We definitely went through it. This is her newest leaf, and this is why she's on my favorites list this month. Striking, just the whole process, watching this leaf unfurl and come to fruition. It was just like, I can't wait to see this thing in its mature form. But yeah, so I have really struggled with this Anthurium. I got it as a tiny seedling. Most of my plants I have gotten as like 2-leaf cuttings or just little plantlets or plugs. And so I don't know what it was. This one started off really well. It was doing really well. It was a tiny little seedling. I mean, smaller than the clarinervium that I showed you, like tiny. I paid $35 for it, and I remember being like, oh my gosh, I'm paying $35 for literally like what felt like a cup of dirt and 2 tiny little leaves. Anyways, I brought it home. I put it in my cabinet. It did fine. And then I attempted to try to grow this in my semi-hydro, and it was just like, no ma'am. So I ended up having to rehab it, and here we are. It was my own fault. I should have just, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know that that was going to be such a horrible mistake. I've learned a lot in a year. So yeah, anyway, she's doing amazing now. And I think we're finally on our way. I think we're good. I don't think we're going to have any issues. She's already about to give me her next little leaf. I'm not sure you guys are going to be able to see it, but it's kind of just about to come out right there. And she's on a steady path of growth. Now it's pretty much once the leaf hardens, she's giving me another one. So yeah, we put her in this pot. I can see some really beautiful roots. Let's see if you guys can see any. Really beautiful roots. coming in this pot. And yeah, she's doing great. Her roots haven't reached the bottom of this pot yet, so I never repot until the roots start to protrude. As soon as I see a root start to protrude through the holes, I repot with Anthurium, that is. Not with Philos, Hoyas, etc., but with Anthurium, I find that they want room. They like room to grow. So yeah, that's her. I think she's doing lovely. I think she looks lovely. I love the color. I love this specific green of this leaf. I know there's going to be some people out there that's like, green is green, but no, this specific green with that sort of velvety touch and that gorgeous red veination. She's a stunner, you guys. She is a stunner. Okay, let's get out of Anthurium for a second because I feel like that's all we've been talking about. I'm going to show you this one here. So this is Scindapsus moonlight, right? So at this point, I feel like this plant has sort of made it's made its way around. Most of you have probably seen it, owned it. It's not necessarily a rare plant, which if I'm being honest, that doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if it's a rare plant. I'm not really... It's exciting when you get a rare plant, but common plants, do not misunderestimate a good common plant. And while this specific Scindapsus, I would say, is a little bit rarer than maybe some of the others, it's so striking. It's just so striking. I mean, how can you not look at these leaves? They look watercolor painted. Just the way that the silver on the inside, I am a sucker for silver plants. And that is why I bought this plant. I bought it because it had so much silver. And this is actually not I have a mother plant outside. This is just cuttings that I liked it so much. I was like, I'd really like it inside. And so I just took a few cuttings off my mother plant, and it's just, here we are. This pot also, you will see in the clip that I'm going to put in at the end of the unboxing and just showing you guys a few things that I've picked up recently, plant related. These are super cool. They are 3D printed and self-watering. So anyway, you'll see it later. This is the plant that I chose to put in it. And yeah, gorgeous. You can find these pretty much anywhere at this point. But it's been easy. I just think it's lovely, and I'm really loving. You'll see a trend in my favorites. Typically my favorites are ones that I feel own the pot that they're in, like just pair really well. Like I've done the pairing right, if that makes sense. I've paired the right pot with the plant, and the way that plant takes over its pot. So this one is really, in my opinion, just starting to take over the pot. It's really starting to kind of like take shape. I think it's going to look lovely in another couple months. Not that it doesn't look lovely now. Obviously, it's one of my favorites, but I don't know. It's just a stunner. I love a good, easy plant. Like I said, a good, easy plant that is striking, that you could just kind of get lost staring at, but doesn't require a ton of effort. Those are favorites. So, Scindapsus moonlight. All right, you guys, next is my pallidiflorum. So we're kind of back on the Anthurium train for a minute. But the reason my pally is on my list this month is because I am finally getting this beautiful new leaf. It is striking. I love how narrow this one is compared to like this one. Even this one, which did grow in my care. I know it's kind of like at a point, unfortunately, the light sort of melted the end of this leaf, but Yeah, I'm excited because Pally is absolutely beautiful in my opinion. I love seeing this plant in other people's collections. But the issue with me is mine tends to grow a little bit on the slower side, interestingly enough. I watch Claire, of course, from Jungle Haven. She talks a lot about her Pally and how quickly hers grows. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I almost wonder if this is one that prefers a little bit lower of a temperature. I grow my plants inside for the most part and it stays pretty stable, but we are finally getting into a little bit of cooler weather here in Florida. And I wonder that. I'm not 100%. It could be something similar to that of like the lipstick plant that I was telling you about, where it just has like this growth period. And then when it stops, it stops. Where my other Anthuriums seem to pretty much give me leaf after leaf. So I don't know, something just different about this particular plant. But to see that new leaf coming out, I waited quite a while for it and I was like so excited. So it's still very, very soft. It's definitely got some more expanding to do. I don't even know if this is like totally in the frame or not, but I also repotted this plant. And so I think it just took her some time to get settled in. And I'm hoping now that she seems happy in her pot, happy in her placement, that we will start seeing some faster growth. But my goodness, if you, again, it's a pendant Anthurium. I've shown you 2 out of my 6. I think I have 6 pendant Anthuriums. And just in this video, they really are favorites, all of them. These 2 are just the ones that sort of stood out the most this month. But yeah, I just think they are so beautiful. I just love the way that they grow. I love it. There's just something so I think because it's not uniform, you know, it's not a uniform plant. It's not bushy. It's not like your traditional house plant. It looks jungly. It looks like something that like you just wouldn't normally see, you know? And I think that's why I love them so much, in addition to just how they don't seem to take up a ton of space. Like they take up the space that they take. Does that make sense? It's not like one that you really have to plan for making a bunch of space for, unlike the next one I'm about to show you. Okay, you guys, we are gonna find a better way to show this plant to you, but here she is. She definitely needs a dusting, so don't mind that. But this is my Florida Beauty, and this plant is so special to me for so many reasons. But one of them is this is one that it was on my wish list for a long time. I wanted this, wanted this, wanted this, and they were everywhere, and they were really, really, really pricey, super pricey. So the first time that they came down in price just a little bit, my boyfriend, he got me one from Equigenera. It was a gift. And it pretty much immediately reverted. And I was so bummed out about that. But on the bright side, I ended up cutting it. And what that did is it gave me the opportunity to experience propagating philodendron, and I found that they were very easy to propagate. I had a lot of good luck with it. The issue that I had was them reverting. A lot of the cuttings just ended up reverting. The plant didn't have the best genes in terms of stable variegation, whereas this one here obviously is very, very stable. So after that happened, bummed out, whatever, went a few months without it or whatever, and then John bought me another one, but this one he got from Blue Moon Tropicals, which I talk about in almost every single video because they are incredible. But this is just an example of what I mean by when I talk about Blue Moon and why most of my collection is from Blue Moon. Well, I shouldn't say most. A lot of my collection is from Blue Moon Tropicals, but I've also shopped with Equigenera, Canopy Plant Co. I've shopped with the Green Escape. I've shopped with a few other local growers here that don't sell online. So the reason that I stick with the specific growers that I pretty much stick to is because, and I'm going to mention Haley, and I'm going to talk about Blue Moon, because Haley puts out top quality. Like, this is what Haley puts out. Haley puts out stable variegation. She really, really loves her plants. Like, this is more than a business for her. It is, like, her name is on it. She takes so much pride in what she does. I know, I've seen the facility. I've been there. I've watched her grow as a business owner over the last couple years, and she's just a wonderful, wonderful human. She does it because she enjoys the hobby, because she has made a career out of it, and she takes it very seriously. So anyway, that's just like my Blue Moon rant. I love Blue Moon tropicals, but I know I talk about them a lot, and I want to be forthright. I'm not sponsored. I have 700 subscribers. There's, come on. I just love them. And I think that they're highly underrated. I think we talk about a lot of growers on YouTube quite often. You hear the same names over and over, but I think she's one that deserves all of that and more. So anyways, I picked this, or he got this for me from her, and it has just been amazing. I have loved on this plant so deep ever since getting it. Leaf after leaf, it just amazes me. The variegation that it puts out, it's always a surprise. Like, each leaf is just so different. I mean, they look like paintings. I will definitely get a close-up. This plant has been on the channel several times, but she is a sticky one. She is a sticky one. She doesn't get as sticky as my Florida green does, but she's definitely a sticky one. She's reached the top of this little cocoa pole. As you see, I don't even have her on a proper pole, and she just doesn't care. She's just like, let's go, let's grow. She is going to it looks like she's going to downsize on this next leaf, which doesn't surprise me because she's reached like the tippy top, and the light is a little bit lower up there. So my plan with her is to just let it grow wild. And if I have to move it around the house a bunch of times in order for it to just grow wild, I will. I have Florida Green as well as Florida Ghost, and I must say, I absolutely love the Philodendron Florida family. Like, I love these leaves. Aren't they so silly? Like, they're just happy. It's just a happy plant. And yeah, the only thing that I would change, or I wish were different, is these petioles are a little bit, I'm not a fan of like crazy petioles, but with this kind of variegation, I take it. And I know that the Florida Beauty, I don't know, it seems to have had its moment and people are moving on from it, but not this girl. I love her. All right, guys, last but not least is my Radicans Luxurians. And the reason this one is on my faves this month is because of this stunning flower that she's given me. Let's see if I can get that in the frame for you. Can you guys see that? This is by far the most beautiful Anthurium flower that I've seen in my collection anyways. It's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. It has flowered for me before, but this is its first like mature inflow that I've actually let grow, if that makes sense. Usually I cut them. I just kind of felt like she was ready. She's ready. I feel like she could be a mother. I am not sure I will breed her this time, but it's good to know that she's flowering. She recently put out this beautiful leaf here. And really, there's just something about luxurians, just the hybrids of luxurians. The texture of the leaves. There's a reason that they are often hybridized and used as parent plants. It's just because they're just so cool. I mean, nothing says jungle like these leaves, right? So yeah, we have a really beautiful, healthy inflow. Y'all don't mind this alocasia we have growing. If you've been around here, you know I talk about how alocasias are not for me. I just struggle with them so much unless they're growing in like a different, unless they're like rogue, stray alocasias. I don't even know where I got, like where he came from. I definitely had Alocasia aslanii. It was definitely a favorite in one of my earlier videos, and it has recently passed away. So it is nice to have a pup of it, but because they're so finicky, I just am like, nope, I will let you grow with your friend, the radicans luxurians, and you guys can just be good friends. And it seems I also have a silver dragon in here too, growing. So I don't know how they wound up in this pot or why, but I'm not mad about it. And it seems as though I am very close to another leaf. So not only is she flowering, but she's putting out leaves all over the place. And this again has just been a super duper easy plant for me to grow. Super easy, you guys. It doesn't really require much other than its food and water. And this was one that I did pick up from Blue Moon, and I paid 15 bucks for it. About, let's see, do I have the date? I've been trying to be better about the date. I didn't put the date. I would say I've had this for a year. I would say around a year, something to that effect. But yeah, she's just been a joy. I love seeing her grow, and I know I've said that over and over and over again, but you know, what more can be said about a favorites video? You know? Okay, you guys, that's all for the plants, for the favorites for this month. I hope you'll stick around for the unboxing because I'm gonna go ahead and place that right after this. And check out the new plants that I picked up. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye, guys. Hey guys, welcome back. I have a little unboxing here, and I wanted to kind of show you. We literally just got home from work, so don't mind me. But the box came today, and I wanted to get it unboxed. I wanted to be able to show you guys what I picked up. If you caught my last video, I showed off a few new plants, and I also said that I had one more on the way that hadn't arrived by the time that I had filmed that last video. And I said that when it came in, I would do a little unboxing because it's been a while since I've unboxed for you guys. This will probably be the last one for a long time. I don't really like to order over the winter months. I just have, fortunately, I have access to several places locally to where I don't really need to order online unless it's something like I really can't find from one of these places. But anyways, so I made a little Canopy Plant Co order. I don't want to show my label. And there it is. This is turning into a hot mess because, as usual, Sam, can you sit down? Are you gonna sit down? Sit. Be sweet. Good boy. Good boy. That's sweet. Say hello. Say hello. All right. So we're gonna get into it. Tons of packing peanuts. So I'm just gonna throw those over here. I have purchased from Canopy Plant Co. a few different times now. My first time was last year, and I've had nothing but good luck with Canopy Plant Co. I like the way that they package. I think they put a lot of care and effort into it. And so yes, this is a wish list plant. It is one that I have been wanting for a long time, and it is a Hoya. I like that they send the little tag, so I never use the nursery tag. All right. exciting. Oh my goodness, so cute. Okay, I didn't mic up or turn on my lights or anything for this little clip, so if that bothers you, I'm sorry. But it's just a lot to set up for a quick 5-minute little clip. Anyways, this is Hoya Nicholsoniae New Guinea Ghost, and I think it is absolutely beautiful. Overall, she looks pretty good, considering this leaf appears to have, I don't know, some like scuffing or some damage. Appears to be one of the newer leaves, so perhaps that's just from shipping. I've heard mixed things about this specific Hoya. I've heard people say that once it takes off, it's a pretty easy grower, and then I've heard people say that it's a little bit of a challenge. So I'm hoping that it's an easy one. So far, my Nova Ghost that I got has done nothing. So I feel like my gut was pretty accurate on that one so far. This one, out of the gate, I feel a little bit better about it, but it does look thirsty. So I am gonna give it a drink. I'm not going to repot it. Looks pretty good. At least not till I get it going. And we'll see where that goes. The other things I wanted to show you guys really quick were just some things I forgot to show you in the last video, and these were a couple things that I picked up from the plant swap from a local vendor. And these are little pots, which is pretty cool. I still haven't kind of figured out exactly, I know you have to line these up. Let me just show you the one that is put together. So basically these are self-watering pots. They unscrew at the bottom, and he's got these like holes in the center. I think he sold the larger one for $8, and this one's kind of cool because you can hang it on the wall. So it comes with this little slide piece and this little tape. But like I said, I haven't even had time to really figure these out yet. I just thought they were super cool. And I asked him if he would be at future plant swaps, and he said that he would. So I kind of gave him a few ideas, kind of hoping that, there it goes, kind of hoping that he makes some of the things that I thought would be cool. I talked about some trellises and just things like that. And then the other couple things I want to show you guys are just some little air dry clay pieces that I've made in the past. And I mentioned in my last video that euphorbia that I had just got, that I wanted to kind of make some air dry clay like fish and sea creatures to kind of put in that pot. If you watched the video, you know what I'm talking about. But I figured I would show you just a couple of the other things that I've made out of air dry clay, and there's just a couple of these little, they're just little trinket dishes. So this one just says pretty things in like really fine print. It's kind of hard to see in this lighting, but I kind of kept this one a little bit more on the natural side, and then this one I just painted green and just put little rings or just little trinkets. And then this is one of my favorites. So this is just a little terracotta pot that I had painted. And I made this little, it's supposed to be like an aloe or a haworthia, but I just thought that that was so cute. And how I ended up doing it is I just made these little petals. Each petal is like individual. And after before I let the petals dry, I stuck each petal with just a little piece of wire. And then let them dry. I ended up painting them after they were dried and just kind of wound all the wire together. You can kind of maybe see at the top. And once the petals are fluffed and kind of like shaped, like you can shape them however you want, you can't really see that wire anymore. So I just kind of stick it in the pot Sorry, camera issues. Anyways, I've been bringing air dry clay pieces to the plant swaps, and I don't know. I don't know how well it's going over. I haven't really sold a ton of them, but I think they're cute, and it gives me something to kind of do. If John's like watching football or something like that, I can just kind of like whip up these cute little things. So anyways, perhaps when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll do a little giveaway and maybe give away some of my air dry clay pieces. I have some other things too that I didn't bring out, but anyways, guys, that is our unboxing from Canopy Plant Co. for the day. And like I said, I'm just gonna water this with a little bit of my fertilizer water, and I'm gonna keep her in the Planty cabinet. Probably put her in the Millsbo tall. I need to find a cute little pot for her though. Let's see what we have. What do we have? I guess I'll just put her kind of in here. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here because we have a lot going on today, and we have a household here, and so yeah, back to life.
Hi guys, what you doing? What you doing? What you do, little? Hello. You say hello? Hello? Hi, Samps. Hi, Samps. What you doing?
Just up close and personal, no boundaries, that's usual. You say hi? Do you say hi?
Say hi.
What are you doing? Who is it? Can you sit? Can you sit? Can you sit? No, you're not gonna sit for me? Sampy, sit. You sit. You sit. You sit.
Good boy, yes. You give me a kiss? You give me... Thank you, Sam.